Dear friends, I am Professor Ratnesh Das, working as professor in Dr. Hari Singh Gaur University. Basically, I am focusing on organic chemistry and our research area is medicinal chemistry. So friends, today's topic which I will share with you is sustainable chemistry and organic catalysis. So you all must be aware that sustainable means आज हम जहाँ रह रहे हैं in this planet and places surrounding us, it should be pollution free, it should be eco friendly and it should be free from pollution. So that's why I have chosen this topic. So today I will be talking about green or sustainable chemistry. The word green or sustainable are one and the same thing. So what we know about sustainable chemistry or green chemistry? So as you all must be aware that sustainable chemistry is a scientific concept that seeks to improve the efficiency with which the natural resources are used to meet human needs for chemical products and services. Sustainable chemistry encompasses the design, manufacture and use of efficient, effective, safe and more environmentally benign chemical products and processes. So friends, as you all know, we are from chemistry background. So whenever we are working in our lab, whether the lab is wet, in wet condition or in dry chemistry lab. So first of all, what we have to think that before starting any reaction or before starting any process, we have to frame our reaction or design our process in such a way that no hazardous or the substance which will harm our lab as well as our human as well as our surrounding and environment, that should not be produced, because it's very easy to prevent these hazardous compounds before they are formed. Once, as you all must be knowing, anything which is formed, it's very difficult to destroy the compounds or the substance which we have formed. So sustainable chemistry is also a process that stimulates innovation across all sectors to design and discover new chemicals, production process and product stewardship practices that will provide increased performance and increased value while meeting the goals of protecting and enhancing human health and environment. So the word green chemistry, this word was coined by Anastas, and what he defined as green chemistry, he said green chemistry efficiently utilizes, means it preferably renewable raw material, it eliminates waste and avoids the use of toxic or hazardous reagents and solvents in the manufacture and application of chemical products. So green chemistry or sustainable chemistry was recognized after Anastas defined what is green chemistry. So the green chemistry, what we know and what we must know, that it is about reducing. So what we can reduce? We can reduce waste. So as I have told just before 2-3 minutes, that it's very easy to prevent or frame a reaction where waste is not formed. Once in your reaction or in your any synthesis waste material is formed, it's very difficult to decompose that waste material. Next, what we can reduce is materials. So we have to focus that the reactants which we are taking, that whole reactant is converted into product, because it is very easy that our reactants are converted into products. If this happens, the loss of material which will be formed in the products, that can be decreased. Next, what we can decrease are hazards. So as I have told, green chemistry, we usually focus that the material or the substance or the product which you are forming in your lab, those materials or products are least hazardous to the person working in the lab as well as to our environment. And we can also reduce risk, because once you are in chemistry lab, you are in 100% risk. You are exposed to the chemicals. So while working in your lab, we can, instead of, if you are suppose synthesizing some compound, so if you are working with two chemicals, instead of moving towards your reaction in one step, two step, three step, you can choose one pot synthesis. So we can, in this way we can reduce the risk. Next, what we can reduce? We can reduce energy, and we can also reduce cost of our system, cost of our reaction, and cost of our lab by using these green chemistry techniques. So friends, जैसा कि यहाँ पे आप लोग देख रहे हैं कि I am saying कि why do we need green chemistry? See, wherever nowadays everyone is talking about green synthesis, green chemistry, sustainable chemistry. So what is the objective? Our basic objective is that we, the person from chemistry field, so chemistry is undeniable, a very prominent part of our daily lives. As you all know, whatever we are using from morning till when we go to bed are all chemicals. When you wake up, you, whatever you do first, if you take toothpaste, that is also a chemical. If you drink your first cup of tea in your bed, that is also chemical. And before going to bed at night, whatever you have taken, that is always consumed and accumulated in our body. So chemistry is a prominent part of our daily life as well as of our body. And chemical development also bring new environment, which results in the need for greener chemical products. So a famous or the mostly used chemical, that is pesticide, what we called as DDT. So as you all know, DDT is mostly used in agriculture fields. People are using it in their gardens, but this DDT is very difficult to decompose, and as you all know, it contains trichlorine. So chlorine is always harmful to the human being as well as to the environment. So what it looks for? So ये ग्रीन केमिस्ट्री है, इससे हम क्या कर सकते हैं? So green chemistry is a tool at pollution prevention on the molecular scale, and it is an extremely important area of chemistry. So chemistry, due to the importance of chemistry in our world today and the implication of it can show in our environment. So the green chemistry program supports the invention of more environmentally friendly chemical processes which reduce or even eliminate the generation of hazardous substances. So friends, if you are in a lab and if you are working in some chemicals, so we have to plan that the product which is formed, you have to isolate it, and the unused product and what we called as byproduct, these byproducts must not be formed, and once these byproducts are formed, you have to plan your strategy in such a way that these byproducts can also be recycled, or we can degrade or decompose these byproducts. So what we are looking for? We are looking for a green environment which will be pleasant for each and everyone, whether human or to our vegetation. So what are the goal of green chemistry? First, to reduce adverse environmental impact, try appropriate and innovative choice of material and their chemical transformation. So once you are working in chemistry, you have to be very smart and intelligent, because you have to think or use those materials which will not produce any environmental pollution, or they will not form any hazardous material which will be harmful to the person who is working in the lab or to our surrounding. The next goal is to develop processes based on renewable rather than non-renewable raw material. As we know, raw material are of two types. One is renewable, other is non-renewable. Renewable means we can reuse them again and again, and once if you are using non-renewable raw material, those raw material will deplete within few months or within few years. So better to go for renewable material. What is the next goal of green chemistry? To develop processes that are less prone to human and which are prone to fire or explosion. So you have to frame your strategy in such a way that we never produce any material which is prone to fire or explosion. Next goal which we can frame is to minimize byproduct. As I am saying again and again, if you are taking two reactants, suppose A and B, and if your main product which has to be formed is C. So whenever we are working, if you take A and B, and you will see that C is formed, but with C, D, E, F, many byproducts are formed. So once these byproducts are formed, it will be very difficult for the person working in the lab or anyone else to degrade these substances. So we have to minimize byproduct. So how we can minimize byproduct? If your reaction is going in many steps, so you can frame that your all components are added together, and what we call that reaction is one pot synthesis. Nowadays, if you read any research paper of organic, you will be seeing one pot synthesis of A, one pot synthesis of B, or one pot synthesis of D. So what they are doing, they are eliminating the formation of byproducts. So what we have to focus, and what is the main goal of green chemistry for the people working in organic lab, okay, we have to think and rethink that we never produce byproducts. Instead of byproducts, if some gas is formed, that should be like water or O2 or CO2, which is already there in our environment. And what is the next goal? Is to develop products that are less toxic. So friends, whenever you are working in chemistry in your lab, whether you are a person of organic, inorganic or physical chemistry, you have to think or you have to develop that you have to do your reaction in such a manner that less toxic or no toxic material is being formed. Because if toxic material is formed, it is very difficult to degrade or decompose these toxic material. Once these toxins are out from your lab, definitely they are going to harm the person working in the lab, as well as it will be harmful for the environment and for the human as well as to our vegetation. So these goals, the main purpose or the main goal which we have to remember and rethink, we have to frame our reaction in such a way that no toxic material is being formed. Because once you will form a toxic material, it is very difficult to degrade them. And why I am saying this again and again, it is very difficult, because in most of the reaction, the main byproduct those are formed that are inorganic compounds, and as you all know, it is very difficult to degrade inorganic material. If some organic compound is formed as your byproduct, it is easy to degrade a organic compound. We can reduce it, we can oxidize it, we can fragment it, we can hydrolyze it. But as I am saying, in any or in every reaction, whether you are in inorganic lab or in organic lab, the most waste material or we can say byproducts that are formed are inorganic compounds, and it is very difficult to decompose or degrade these inorganic compounds. There are few more goals. So we have to develop products that degrade more rapidly. So you have to think before starting your reaction, if some byproducts are being formed, they should be degradable. Means they should decompose or degrade into small products that will not harm our environment. And we have to develop efficient and reliable methods to monitor the process for better and improvement in your reaction. So one thing what I want to tell, whenever you are working in organic lab or inorganic lab, we have to develop some methods which will monitor real time monitoring, what we call real time monitoring. So what is real time monitoring? When you have taken two reactants, suppose A and B, and if you want to form a product C, so there must be some technology that when we mix A and B to form product C, in between the reaction what is happening in your system, that has to be monitored. So it is a very big task, and I think many scientists across the world are trying to develop some technology which we called as real time monitoring. So what will happen in real time monitoring? The byproducts which will be formed, we will come to know that the byproduct which is going to be formed will harm our environment or not. So this real time monitoring is still in progress, and I hope and we think or we feel that in coming few months or few years we will have some technology that will be real time monitoring of our reactions. Thank you for giving your time, and I think if this lecture will be beneficial to the students who are working in the field of chemistry. Thank you.